What's up, brethren? ¿Quieres que tiempo lo es? I just want to start off today vehemently disagreeing with the Packers organization stating that Josh Jacobs' injury was not season-ending. Because it ended my season. That's all I got to say about that. It is a season-ending injury for ya boy. But that's okay. Life goes on. We got a lot of interesting things happening after this week's horrific performance from most of the squad here, including but not limited to myself, Aaron, Will, Blake, Dale, and Grayson. Some typical, not me, but Aaron and Will, Dale, usually sling it. Blake usually slings it. Not this week. I'm not going to do the math, but I think it's our lowest scoring week as a whole. I'm going to believe it because I only put up 79 points. Aaron now moves into first. I am 8th. Honestly, all I really needed was either Josh Jacobs or Amon-Ra to do what they were supposed to, and I end up with a total of 10 points between them. I did have Kenneth Walker randomly go off in week 11, so that's exciting. And then the only other thing I had to do, Gainwell was not realistic, but all I had to do was put Tet in flex over Wayndell. I should have known the Giants were playing the Packers. I should have known Micah Parsons. I should have known Jameis was going to be in that. I did know Jameis was going to be in it. I just didn't think Wayndell was going to drop a total goose egg here. Half of projected. All I really needed to do was play Tet, so we'll work that out for the rest of the season. Nevertheless, Mr. Aaron gets the win with only scoring 93.8. Ja'Marr Chase at 6. Goddard at 4. DeAndre Swift at 9. Just an awful, awful, awful week for both of us. He does end up with the win. Next, we've got a very interesting matchup, which I just want to say, Drew, I'm sorry, man. You literally would have beat every single other person you played this week except for Alex. That is unfortunately the way fantasy goes. You did, however, score enough to stay in that 9th spot, and Dylan goes to 10th. We'll check out the standings here in a minute. The story really here is Josh Allen literally going off for 42 points, making up that huge difference there. And then we did have Sean Tucker on the Tampa Bay side of things for Drew dropping 34, which was not by any means expected there. But due to the Josh Allen boom, we get a 7-point victory here. Congratulations to Dylan. He's won, I think, 3 in a row at this point. An absolute turnaround, given his circumstances. And Jahmyr Gibbs and Drake London, and Josh Allen, I always thought all season he should be in a better spot, but look at like that's finally working out due to some of these secondary players. So congrats, Dylan, there. Next, we have Eric and Will. Will moving to 4th. Eric moving all the way up to 5th. We'll cover that in our standings. 105 to 119 here, and the big story is Lamar dropping less than 5. Not a typical outing at all for Lamar Jackson. His running backs, as per the usual, drop a lot of points. Kicker even coming in this time at 18. Gets the 4.72 from Lamar there with a couple of interceptions, and ends up dropping this one to Eric. This one's got pretty big playoff implications for the bottom half, not the top half. Will is still pretty safe there in that 7-4 spot. I think Aaron Rodgers ended up with an injury. But congrats, Eric, pulling that off. You're above 500. You move into 5th. Very good outing from Mr. Eric there. Then we have another top 4 battle here, and Blake and Alex. Even though Blake gets the loss, he still remains 3rd. Alex climbing to that 2nd spot with 138 points here. And not that anybody is shocked by this, but we do have a 35-point outing for Mr. McCaffrey. And I guess, shout out to Alex for picking up Christian Watson here at the last minute. He did have basically 2 receivers out. He did have some trades to fix that, but chose to decline. Christian dropping the 20.6 here, and Cooper Kupp with the 5.3, which is not a lot, but is better than 0. So good move there, pal. I'm glad you looked at your app. Blake here with some, just running backs, man. Running backs. Is this why people don't play PPR? Is this running back stuff? Or are they better in non-PPR leagues? I don't know, but running backs just drive me nuts, man. There's only like 6 good ones, and we got 12 teams. Some teams have 2 of them, which Blake typically does. But this week, his absolute monster, Jonathan Taylor, was out. So he does roll with DeMarcado here with the unfortunate 4 points. Tez Johnson as a flex for 1.6. You hate to see it. Not necessarily going to make up the gap here. I just hate when there's just players on the bench that you could never have predicted was going to do better than what you chose. Nevertheless, Alex gets the win here, moves up to 2nd. Blake just moves down to 3rd. All right. Now we have Jake Detweiler's first win since week 3. That's right. Since week 3, Jake gets his first win since week 3, moves to 2-9, is unfortunately still in that 12th spot. Dale moving down to 6th at 6-5. We will check that out, like I said. This really came down to Genty versus Dak Prescott and the Cowboys defense, and man, did they do well last night. You got Dak going for 24. You got the Cowboys going for 11, and Genty only going for 9. He did have some Nico Collins there. Drake May, honestly, that's really low for him. Not much he could have done on the bench. Travion Henderson and Tyrone Tracy on the bench here. Could have been even higher. Man, you could have... 38. Brother, you could have dropped over 150 this week. Watch out for that. I can't think we can officially say that Dylan and Jake are no longer free wins. And we need to pay attention to those teams on the schedule. Dale moving to 6th. We'll check that out in a second. Wanted to go back here and say this Monday night game also had a Brock Bowers versus who was it? CeeDee Lamb sort of matchup here, where Brock Bowers, if he performed and CD busted, you'd have that difference there, but CD goes for 17. Brock going for 14. Not bad points, but that's what makes the difference there. Now we have our last matchup here in Ryan and Grayson. Grayson, unfortunately, falling to 11th here with the loss. 77 points versus 112. Herbert going for 3 is brutal. McConkey going for 4 is brutal. But other than that, you have your typical scorers here in Kittle and Robinson. Chase Brown actually working out pretty well there. On Grayson's bench, not much we could have done. I think what's happened to you, pal, is you do get good value in your trades. and you had to trade because of injury. I'm not saying you didn't have to do what you did. But the two that come to mind are Bo Nix and Devon Achane. Those are pretty good players that I think you traded for some pretty good value. The problem is when you trade what we call bangers or top players or consistent boomers, whatever you want to call them, for a bunch of mid, 15-ish point projected players, then you end up with a squad that won't consistently get you booming scores, and you end up with this lower value here. Now, I think you've done everything you can. I'm not saying you did anything wrong. I'm saying due to your injuries, this is the situation that you're in. I think you're doing the best you can. Don't quit, though. You're now in 11th. Do not quit. There's now a battle to stay out of that last spot, and especially with Jake coming up with those points this week, everybody is on notice for those last spots. Next, we're going to check out the standings here. We now have a two-way tie for first in Aaron and Alex, with the points for making up that difference, which they are separated by a very large margin. That's insane. Separated by 45 points there for that first spot. So congratulations, Aaron, in first there, and Alex for. If you guys maintain those, you will have your bye weeks for that playoff run. Next, we have a two-way tie for, I guess, what is essentially third in Blake and Will at 7 and 4. Again, that points for making up that differential there. And now we have a very, very interesting three-way tie for technically fifth, but what we're fighting for here is that sixth spot in the playoffs with Eric, Dale, and Ryan, all with about a 60-ish% chance to make the playoffs. So the deal here is, if they maintain their records, it is also going to go to points for. So if we go down here and look at points for Eric, Dale, and Ryan, we are literally all separated by 8 points. Okay, so if the records maintain, this becomes important. 1254, 1249, 1246. That's the differentiator. And to be only separated by 8 in total is insane. So what I want to do just real quick is let's go to our league schedule here and see who's left between Eric, Dale, and Ryan fighting for these last 2 spots in the playoffs. All right, so this week, or week 12, we'll talk about this in the matchup recap. We've got Ryan is playing Alex. We've got Dale and Eric. So we're deciding this pretty soon. Whoever wins this matchup is going to have quite the advantage for that 5th spot, I do believe. The next week, we've got Dale plays me. That's basically a free win. Eric plays Grayson. And then Ryan plays Drew. And then week 14, Ryan plays me. Eric plays Grayson, and Dale plays Dylan. So anything could happen. One of these guys is guaranteed to lose this week because Dale and Eric do play each other. So let's keep an eye on that. I'll certainly be watching because even though I'm at 11%, I do play Dale, and he plays Eric this week. So theoretically, let's see, 12, 20, 12, 40. I mean, I got 30 points to make up, but that's why it's such a low chance. If Dale continues to lose, I'll beat him, and then I have to win out. That would put him at 6-8 and me at 7-7. Which would put me in there, but then I would need somebody else to lose. So essentially, I have to win out, Dale has to lose out, or vice versa. And then I think you're good if you win out because you would have beaten Eric, and then Ryan will get in. So just a big mix up there. And then the last thing to call out is we now have a four-way tie for 11th. That's what I'm going to call it, not 8th. I am now in that mix. So if you look at 4 through 7, you've got Grayson 1154, Dylan 1185, Drew 1191, me at 1220. I think I'm safe, but if I continue to lose, it's going to be a problem. But for the moment, Grayson and 10th is separated by 30 points there. So we have to make some things. As it stands now, that last place game will be Grayson and Jake. But the last thing to call out is, unfortunately, Jake Gucci Mane coverage Detweiler is officially statistically eliminated from playoff contention here at that 12th spot. Now with that 0% chance to make it. So at this point, bud, you're literally just fighting to stay out of that singlet on Fieldstown Road. Don't forget that punishment is there. Do everything you can to stay out of it, which I know you guys are doing, but I am now in this mix, so I will also be doing everything I can to stay out of it. Keep going, boys. We're almost there. It's been an extremely exciting season. Don't stop. We'll see you next time.